He's not good. But the only I'm gonna say that I'm here. So you're watching the best 140 pound in the world. And
Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. Man, I want to pick up right where I left off with the former IBF 140-pound champion, IBF champion of the year, who in almost a month ago actually lost the fight to Liam Paro. I'm gonna pick right back up where I left off, because normally I like to give my guys a little bit of time, man, to sit back and relax. But I'm one of them ones to say, listen, man, put the newspaper clippings down, stay off of social media, get back in the lab, look at film, get back to work. And I was trying to figure out, okay, where we at when it comes to Subriel Matias, No Mas Tears. Where do we stand? What are we looking at? How do we go as a fan? Because I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm not going to turn my back on the young man. I'm not going to discourage him or say anything. You know, he basically just got outworked, in my opinion. Had a bad night. Maybe being at home was overwhelming. But the man didn't make any excuses. And I came across this article that I want to talk about, where Subriel Matias responds to critics following defeat from Liam Paro. The pair went head-to-head in Puerto Rico last weekend. Subriel Matias is making no excuses for his loss to Liam Paro this past weekend on DAZN. The pair went head-to-head for Matias' IBF super lightweight title in Puerto Rico, and it was a fight which many expected Matias to win. However, Paro produced a huge upset in front of his opponent's home fans and was crowned the IBF's new champion at 140 by unanimous decision. This shock loss led to some claiming that Matias was overlooking his Australian rival, with his sights set on some of the super lightweight division's best names. Speaking after the loss, Matias was quick to silence these claims and praise the newly crowned world champion. "I don't believe I overlooked him at all," Matias said. "I just think he did his work very well. It's kind of humiliating to lose at home. You would almost prefer to fight away from home and have everything against you, but I did not overlook him." Mark these words: "I wouldn't change anything. All things are planned and written in life. I'm nobody to be able to change that. I'll be honest, excuses are for losers, so I'm not going to make any excuses. When I suffered my first defeat a few years ago, I always believed that what I did in the fight, I would have to do no matter what, win inside the distance. You saw when the bell went for the start of the 12th round, anything could happen, and what happened was Liam Paro became a world champion." Man, you gotta love the maturity, you know, in a champion like, or now former champion like Subriel Matias. The man said, listen, excuses are for losers, so I'm not gonna make any. You know, I'm not gonna take away from Liam Paro. I'm not gonna give you anything that you can point at or shake a stick at. He just basically said that Liam Paro worked very well. And I gotta say, look, when it comes to him saying I wouldn't change a thing, I understand conceptually what he means. I'm sure there are some things as far as activity-wise he would do, but I'm saying what I applaud in him is that looking back, he's saying looking back at that fight and how it went, and you know, the result that was rendered and what happened, he's saying I wouldn't change nothing. I'm not the type that's would go back and try to erase all the mistakes that I've made in my past. You know what I'm saying? Everything is written. You know, it came to pass. It wasn't his night. And that's the level of maturity you need, especially that's the kind of mindset you need so you can look forward, man. A lot of these champions, regardless of the controversy and things that's in the headlines and circumstances around the fight, man, you can clearly see how some champions act when they suffer a loss versus how others act when they suffer a loss. So I have to applaud Subriel Matias, man. I want Subriel to know that he actually does still have fans, not fair weather fans that's still gonna lift him up, still gonna say, hey man, you still a tough out. I still don't see too many people, knocking on your door, ringing your doorbell, asking for that smoke. Only thing I'm really asking for Subriel Matias is to go back, work on some conditioning, actually incorporate some of that head movement that you were giving us, in the lead up, in the build up when you was in training camp. Incorporate some of that in the actual fight. And I guess the lesson would be learned to where, if you are going to be at home and you in your backyard, now you have an experience with that, just like we just went through when he was at home in Louisiana. He wound up getting a dub, but many people say that he lost to Zorilla. And I think that he took away from that. Maybe you can take away from that. So the next time, when you get your title back and you're back at home and you got all this pressure and all these people looking at you, you actually have a lesson now and not a true loss, because you gained the experience of being overwhelmed by being in your own hometown. So I look forward to something from Subriel Matias, man. I hope that he drives forward. I can say that I just think that he just need to, be himself. And in the next 90 to 120 days, get back in the ring. Say, hey, Eddie, hey, I need, I'm ready to get right back at it. Get on the horn now if you haven't already. Which, knowing Subriel Matias, he took his time off, got with his family, and then started saying, this is my next move. Because he's a fighter. He's a fans fighter at that. But what do you think, man? I think that that's a mature approach, man. I wish that a lot of champions would actually take on that approach. And you got to respect that, man. You're not hearing anything about him negative in the sober. He's not out here crying and whining and distracted from all these other big fights and events that are taking place right now in the sport. I just hope that he's back in the lab, developing that film, getting that film a little bit clearer, so when he reemerges, that photo will be so bright. I would love to get your comments, your thoughts, your takes, man. Are you still a Subriel Matias fan? Did you jump off the bandwagon? Or are you going to stay true? I want to see him back. What do you think? Let me know in my comment section. Remember, this is fact-based content, not opinion-based. Fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. Anyways, what do you think about Subriel Matias? Holla at me. Thanks for tuning in here at BodyWorkBoxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.